Hey everybody, my name is Aaron Snook. I'm an adjunct theater professor at UNCA, and I will be the director of the Three Pigs Project this semester. And this video is for me to tell you all a little bit more about what that will be. And I think the best way to do that is to tell you what it was inspired by. So it was inspired by a piece, a toy theater piece that I've been doing for the past 4 years with my theater company, the American Myth Center, in partnership with the Vance Birthplace historical site in Weaverville. And 4 years and some change ago, the site manager and I had a coffee, and she said she was looking for a Christmas show that wasn't just a Christmas show, but was going to be a tool for the historical site to do two things. One, to confront the complexity of Zebulon Vance, who was a favorite son of North Carolina, was a governor, senator, did some really great things for North Carolina, was also a white supremacist. And that's the part that hadn't been talked about, at least at that point. The conversation is louder right now. So that was one thing. And the second thing, which actually became a higher priority as we went along, was to highlight the lives of the enslaved people who lived on that site. And we ended up focusing on one in particular whose name was Venus, who we know a bit more about. So that was a tall order. Christmas show to confront the complexity of Zebulon Vance and to highlight the lives of the enslaved people. And I said, I think toy theaters are best bet on this. And I said that because, one, I love toy theater, but two, the strength of toy theater is to bring the audience delight. And if you can bring the audience delight, whether it's through marionettes or shadow puppetry or crankies, or many more, if you can do that, you can bring them into the story so that they can confront what is in that story and bring it with them into hopefully a conversation after the story is over. The modern equivalent of this would be Pixar, right? Every Pixar film, most every Pixar film, and especially recently, I just watched Soul, brings you in, smiling ear to ear, and then you're just a puddle by the end, and confronting some real issues, right? So that's what I think toy theater can do. So we did that, and we created this show over the course of 3 years. We refined it, and we really got it into a really nice place where people came, they either loved it or they hated it. Usually you're doing something right when you get that response. And so when it came into the fourth year, we had to pivot. We figured we had to pivot virtually. So what we ended up doing is we created a filmed adaptation of the live experience, which it was a 30-minute tour that went through the site. You were Zebulon Vance as the Scrooge character, and you were visited through toy theater by the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. And we created, so our filmed adaptation was from the point of view of Zebulon Vance going through this experience. So we filmed it. We invited people virtually to do a live watch. So we all got together in this box and we watched it at the same time. And then we had a panel of special guests whose specialties applied to the conversation we were trying to spark. And they talked about what the story evoked in them. And in that conversation, they then opened out to the larger audience who had joined us, and then we had a larger conversation. And it was just wonderful. It was successful. It was honestly the most successful pivot, one of the most successful pivots that I had been a part of or that I had witnessed during this time. So it made me really want to do it more. So I looked back, and there was this piece that I had written 4 years ago that used the Three Little Pigs to talk about the history of redlining in Asheville, and to hopefully spark a conversation over what that redlining did, the effects that it is having on our communities now, and the effects that it will continue to have on our communities. And it's something that I really, when I moved to Asheville, I really deep dive into the history of the city, and it's the dark history that I was compelled by, and a history that I don't feel like we're talking enough about, which is why I wrote that adaptation, which was conceived originally for a podcast, for audio, but I think it's going to make a really wonderful toy theater piece, and not only a toy theater piece, but a filmed toy theater piece from the point of view of the wolf, much like we did the point of view of Zebulon Vance for the Appalachian Christmas Carol. So I'm very excited about this. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for 6 to 9 students who are curious and excited by what I just said. And we will we'll figure out what our skill set is, and then we'll apply that to the process. And so I wrote the schedule on that application, and I say hold it lightly because, like any journey during this time, it's uncertain. But basically, we're going to spend a couple of weeks getting on the same page about toy theater, about its possibilities, about its strengths, about what we can do. Get on the same page about the history that we want to spark the conversation around. It's important that we're very clear on what we're talking about. And then we're going to start making. We're going to start figuring out what tools of toy theater will best tell the story that we're trying to tell. And we'll start making. And generally, with this sort of thing, we'll make a puppet. We'll see what it does. We'll see what its strengths are, and we'll either move along or we'll have to remake the puppet. It's a trial and error sort of workshop. And then we're going to end up with a piece, and we're going to rehearse that piece. We'll all be puppeteers in some way, or puppeteers, or those that film, or those that do the spoken word. And then we'll film the piece, and then we'll do a live stream where we'll all watch the piece together with the audience, and then we'll have some special guests there to help us curate the conversation. So that's what we're looking to do. If you have any questions, just email me, asnook@unca.edu. Otherwise, I really hope to see your application in my email. And stay safe, wear a mask, listen to the smart people, and I'll see you all soon.